Welcome, everybody. Like we said in our brief intro, today we're going to be talking about something that seems glaringly unfair. Glaringly unfair as when Julius Malema shot a gun into the air, he got 5 years.
Yep.
Direct imprisonment, no questions asked, that's it. Yet when Robert Mugabe's son and his cousin shot 2 bullets into someone's back, they only get 3 years.
Yeah.
And Robert Mugabe's son, even though it might seem like his cousin is taking the fall for him, but he basically got off scot-free. He got into a plane yesterday, OR Tambo, not far from us, and then left. You know, so I think the first thing that we need to address there, Rob, is on the face of it, does it seem fair? We already did a video 2 weeks ago about Malema, saying that 5 years is already a bit harsh. But then 3 years for attempted murder. 2 bullets in a back. Hey, it seems like a story to me. What do you have to say?
No, I think you're right. It does not seem fair, but having observed or watched the entire sentencing, the magistrate in the Mugabe matter, he was lenient. He kept saying, "This is your lucky day."
Yes, for Mugabe.
Yes, he kept saying, this is mercy. Mercy should not be confused with sympathy.
So where was the mercy for Malema?
I don't know. But I told you last time that the magistrate in the Malema matter was just all over the place.
Yeah.
And then that's one. Two, she just wanted to prove a point, because here someone got hurt.
Well, not just someone got hurt. This is 2 9mm bullets in the back.
Yes, this is 2 9mm bullets in the back. But another thing which the magistrate emphasized here is they found the ammunition, but they never allocated the gun.
Yes.
They never located the gun. So in that instance, the magistrate was like, because the gun is still in circulation, this is your lucky day. But he also said another point here was that the complainant who actually opened the matter
withdrew,
was, with the magistrate's words, was wonderfully compensated.
400,000 for 2 bullets, 200,000 a bullet.
No, he was
as a gardener. As a gardener. So 200,000 rands a bullet in the back. It doesn't seem like a bad day's work.
No, it doesn't.
If you survive it, It reminds me of that show that was on TV way back when I was younger. It was called, it's called Jackass. Jackass, where these crazy white guys just used to jump off buildings and crazy but they made a lot of cash. It was like Mr. Beast type of stuff. You remember? Yeah, that type of thing. But I think maybe when we look at the comparison, we can say, okay, fine. Either the Mugabes got off lightly or Julius Malema was too harsh.
No, definitely.
With Malema, we can agree. It was too harsh.
We can definitely agree that it was too harsh.
But this just makes it obvious. Like crystal clear obvious that he shouldn't have gotten 5 years.
No.
He shouldn't have gotten. But then maybe what we should be asking is, some might argue that no, Malema got the right amount of time. However, these guys got off easy. So the 5 years for Malema is right. But these guys should have gotten maybe 10 years. What would you have to say in response then?
Definitely, right? But there were just a few factors that the magistrate in this case was like, these are mitigating factors. Like one, these are first-time offenders. And then he looked
Malema's got a record?
I don't think so.
It was a first-time offender?
Yeah. I don't know. It's not my first-time offender.
I think he had some SARS issues.
No, not SARS. But remember the shoot the Buaso.
Yes.
So we just have to visit that and just check what happened there. But I think he was also a first-time offender. And then another thing, the magistrate was of the view that these were young lads. The magistrate was just having conversation with them. It's like a dad. It's like, you guys have been in prison, you see how tough it is. But and then, but he kept emphasizing the fact that the complainant wanted to withdraw.
Yes, and it would have been impossible.
Yes, it would have been impossible.
No, I think one thing that we must just highlight, maybe just for the audience, is that when it comes to sentencing, the natural reaction that we have is to look at the crime.
Correct.
But that's only one of three circumstances or factors that we need to take into account. We all know state versus Zen. You must take into account the crime. You must take into account the criminal.
Correct.
And you must take into account the community.
Correct.
Right? I call them the three C's. You know, some other people call them the triad, sentencing triad. But you need to take those three things into account. Now, when it comes to the crime, it's clear that the crime that Malema committed is not as bad as the crime that this guy committed.
Correct.
Right? So we get that part.
That is crystal clear.
Yes. Yeah. So on the severity of the crime alone, then clearly they were supposed to get more than Malema, or Malema was supposed to get less than them.
Correct.
But that's just 30% of the calculation. You know. Then there's the other two factors. The one I want to deal with is this societal interest, because one thing that he emphasized a lot is that you guys were upfront about it.
You guys were very clear.
Yeah, you guys were very clear.
Yeah, you were very remorseful.
You didn't come here and tell me a story about
no story.
Celebratory shots, racism, spend years, you know. And that's something that was emphasized in Malema's trial, to say, because of you, we couldn't do maintenance. And you remember,
people couldn't come.
People couldn't come to court. you know. So the drain on society that your case had, as Malema, was a lot more than the drain that this one had.
Correct.
You know, someone got hurt. We understand that part. And that we've already catered for.
Correct.
But the other considerations that we need to take is that you guys did not waste our time. I mean, these guys were arrested in February.
Yeah, in Feb.
It's done. There was a conviction, done. Sentencing, done. Malema, Mugabe is back in this country, which is a factor that we need to take into account, like with American courts, where they give you an option. They say, listen, if you go to trial, I'm going for the maximum sentence. But if you give me a plea deal, if you tell me you're guilty, explain what happened, you would be able to get less, right? And for them, they would tell you, okay, fine, you'd have time served plus 6 months or fine or whatever. But they make it easier so that we don't spend a lot of time with nonsense cases in the court. Not saying Malema's got a more nonsense case. No, that's another thing that we need to consider. But he did take a lot of time and resources from the system in dealing with this case. Whereas these guys...
Just like that.
Yes, it's 7 years for 8 years.
Yeah, since 2018.
Exactly. Whereas this one over here, we are dealing with 2 months. Yeah, 3 months.
Feb, March, April, and it's done and dusted. Yeah,
so the magistrate did right in taking that into account. That number one, you didn't waste our time. You said you were guilty upfront. Just get a bit closer there.
Yeah. So that was one factor, but I think the most important factor is that they couldn't find the gun.
So this is what the prosecutor was saying. Yeah. The gun is still missing.
Yeah, the gun is still missing.
You know.
So the accused 1 and 2, the cousin and the son of Mugabe. So I don't know, but the magistrate said this, but in passing. But he said because he's the officer of the law, he cannot speculate.
Yeah.
But he was just saying that hopefully the cousin is not taking a fall.
Yes. Yeah, because to be clear, just for the audience, that there were a few charges.
Yeah.
The one that they both had was violating the Immigration Act.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. They were in the country illegally, both of them.
Yeah.
Zimbabwean citizen.
Correct.
The second was the cousin was charged with attempted murder, and he took the fall for that. Right? And pointing a firearm is a charge that Mugabe took.
Correct.
Right? Mugabe's son.
Yeah.
But he claims to have pointed a toy firearm 2 weeks before the time. Yeah. He just had a toy firearm and he pointed and he said, listen, I'm guilty of that. But shooting itself, I was not there.
No, he said nah.
So it seems it would seem that the cousin has taken a fall. But what I've liked about this magistrate is that he said, I'm dealing with the facts in front of me.
Yes. He's not speculating.
He's not speculating.
He's not taking everything that
every possibility.
No,
to
every
say
possibility. What could have happened?
No.
So
very nice.
The magistrate is central to say these are the facts before me. You're not saying anything or creating scenarios in your head.
Yes.
The gun is missing.
Another magistrate maybe Malema's magistrate said the gun is missing.
Yeah.
We don't know whether maybe you are using it for other crimes. Maybe people are going to die. So
because of that reason,
10 years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, this magistrate really, very nice.
No, he was good. So it was the charges are those. So attempted murder, illegal
Which the
possession.
cousin took.
Yeah. So and then obviously another thing was defeating or obstructing the ends of justice.
Yeah.
Remember, because when the complainant laid a charge with the police, the cousin, we're not sure because it's a big mention, refused the police to come in. For some time, and you never know. And then shockingly, that is where the gun vanished.
Missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't know what's happening. But then the magistrate in this matter was quite subtle. He was patient.
Yes.
Yeah, he understood. Because I remember I think one thing is the Malema's sentence was harsh and unfair.
Yes.
To be honest.
Same opinion.
Yeah. And then the other thing here is that these guys just came through and say, you know what, we are sorry, we plead guilty. And then to minimize a lot of cost, we'll pay for a lot of things. We'll compensate the complainant. If we are deported, we'll pay for everything. We'll pay for the cost, we'll pay for the ticket and everything else. And then the cousin just like, okay, let me just take the fall for it. I mean, it's 3 years. Yeah. Because
I'll be out in 1.5.
Yeah, I'll be out.
At parole, what will we say? That, hey, you were guilty, you were remorseful, you've compensated the guy. Why are we keeping you?
Yeah,
Get out, my friend.
Get out, go home.
And no, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. And if we go back to the Malema matter, the magistrate took quite a lot of time discussing, saying that the conviction is against a person, not the party. Like, if you're just central, just go ahead with it. If you're central, you're partial, just go ahead with it and say, this is the sentence without, complaining too much about it. But having looked at it, I mean, someone got hurt. Someone was shot. In Malema's case, again, there's few shots in the air. Maybe the magistrate was just pissed off because Malema's first defense was that he shot a toy gun. There was no bullets, there was nothing. They had to get the gun to court, get an expert to come through and explain this is a real gun. But judicial officers must understand that they must stop creating scenarios into their head.
Yes, deal with the facts.
Deal with the facts.
Deal with the facts.
Deal with the evidence before you. And then in that way, our cause will be a little bit more consistent. And then, shockingly, the counsel for Mugabe, he was there. Advocate Hodis,
yes,
SC, he was there for Malema. Yeah, he was the same guy. He was the same guy.
No, but I think he was just in a court,
correct,
with a much more experienced magistrate.
Yeah,
in a court that's very, very busy, by the way.
Yeah.
This is Alexandra Med Court.
No, he kept saying that
he's been there for 26 years in regional court. He's been 30 years in the regional court. He knows his stuff.
No, he does. No, right? he knows his stuff.
So taking into account the interest of the community, the fact that you have amended what you've done wrong by giving compensation,
correct,
is a strong factor.
Yeah, that's
it's not like you've killed someone, we can't bring them back. No. You've stolen money, you haven't given it back. Yeah, you've given back quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah,
you've done that.
Yeah.
Number 2, you didn't waste our time.
No, you just said I'm guilty.
Number 3, which is a very important factor as well, is after they compensated this victim, the victim wanted to withdraw.
Yeah,
said, "Okay, fine, I'm leaving it."
Yeah.
If the victim wants to withdraw, the magistrate was emphasizing that if he was to withdraw, there was likely not to be a conviction. You guys would have walked free.
Yeah.
But you have manned up.
Yes, you have manned up.
And said, we did this. Yeah. We're going to pay for it.
Correct.
We are guilty.
Yeah.
Because if it was the case that the complainant didn't want to testify or said, I'm not the prosecutor, and you know how prosecutors are. They call you in a day before, say, can we consult? I'm working. I'm busy. Then there's a postponement. Then we say final postponement. Yeah. When you look again, the matter's withdrawn.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
So if it was not for the guilty plea, which they manned up for, it just there wouldn't have been a conviction. There would have been no sentence. They would have paid 400,000 and that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
So no. Big ups to the lawyer.
No. Big ups to the lawyer. But
big ups to the magistrate.
I also should say big ups to the magistrate.
Fantastic.
No. The magistrate is good. The Malema one kept saying it was premeditated. No one got hurt.
Yeah, Malema's one is different. Yeah. So in this one, we are not saying that these boys got off scot-free.
No.
And Malema got off fine.
No.
We are saying no. These ones got a proper sentence.
Yeah.
Malema got off Malema got a harsh sentence.
Way too harsh.
That's basically it.
Yeah, way too harsh. Yeah, way too harsh.
So just another thing we should know, that Mugabe was also convicted of pointing a firearm, even though he admits that it was a toy.
Yeah.
So that a lot of people may think, no, that's not it. But in terms of the firearm controls, if you point a firearm or anything resembling a firearm, whether it's a BB gun, it's a CO2 gun, whether it's an antique, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing that the act is trying to avoid is that fear that it instills.
Yeah.
You know, I can talk about my great-grandfather robbing coaches there in Pilgrim's Rest with wooden guns.
Yeah.
Right? And he got away with it.
Yeah.
They gave him the money. Yeah. Right? Because when you are coming to me with a firearm, I don't have time to say, let me do a forensic investigation.
No. Is the gun
Is the gun real? No. If I can genuinely believe from its appearance that it's a real firearm, you have instilled that fear, you've intimidated me.
Yeah.
And that is the crux of that crime.
Yeah. And then the magistrate was also emphasized that because of that, it carries a minimum sentence of up to 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's not a game. Don't go around thinking, no, I'm robbing you with a fake gun. I'm not going to get this charge.
No,
you will get convicted.
You will get convicted.
You know?
Up to 10 years.
Exactly. So it's because a lot of people rob without a real gun.
Yeah.
Then you bring the charge against them and they say it wasn't a real gun.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not the point. I used it as an instrument of my crime because I believe that it would inspire the belief in you that it is a real gun. And because of that belief, you will comply with my demand.
Correct.
So that is the reason that I used the fake gun. Whether it was real or whether it didn't have bullets or whether it wasn't working.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No. The thing is that I can rob you with a replica just the same way that I can rob you with an original.
Correct.
Whether it's a Desert Eagle that I bought from Emakuleni or Desert Eagle that I bought from Spartan Arms. Same effect.
Yeah.
Because my victim doesn't know.
No, the victim doesn't.
The victim doesn't know.
The victim doesn't know.
And I have the intention of using it to inspire fear.
Correct.
That intimidation is the crux. So pointing a firearm is not just about real firearms. BB gun thing of little teenagers running around, you're running a big risk.
No, you are. So lucky for him, all he has to do is pay the 400,000.
Well, he paid the 400,000 and a 600,000 fine.
Yeah,
because it's 400,000 plus another 200,000.
Yeah, so the 200,000 is for contravention of the Immigration Act.
Yes. Which is actually, it's quite hectic, that one.
Yeah, it is. So,
but on that one, I think the magistrate knew that he was going to pay for it because it was. So what Mugabe got is 400,000.
Yeah.
Right. For pointing the firearm.
Correct.
Or 2 years in jail.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the immigration side, it was 18 months in jail, or you pay 200,000. So that's how it's 600,000 total.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, they gave him a very big incentive to say, how much money do you have?
Yeah.
You know, because if you don't pay this money, you're spending at least 18 months in jail.
Correct.
So maybe on that one, there's an argument to be made that because he was rich, that's why the amounts were so high.
Yeah.
Because 200,000 for overstaying.
Yeah.
Being in the country illegally.
Yeah. I mean, how many other people?
It's hectic.
200,000.
Yes, he was in the country.
Yeah, he was in the country legally.
Mm-hmm. Him and his country.
No, his permits expired.
Yes, he could.
Okay.
But, I just think that having dealt with immigration, having dealt with VFS, having dealt with these systems myself, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not. Especially like renewal processes, you need to wait, there's queues and things like that. Yeah. Because unfortunately, unlike you don't want to send your child to a public school or a public hospital where there are long queues, you send them to private.
Yeah.
There's no private home affairs.
No, there's no.
You need to deal with home affairs.
Yeah.
That queue, I don't care who you are.
Yeah, but you need to stand in that queue.
Rupert must be in that queue.
Yeah. But
for his ID.
Yeah.
You want Rupert was in that queue.
Yeah.
With his billions.
Yeah, but I saw there's progress. Now you can have your ID and your passport in your bank.
Yes, so that makes it better.
Yeah, they're rolling it out. So for Mugabe, he was here illegally. Remember, the Mugabe's wife was provided with presidential
Pardon last time, yes. When
and she ran away. She's never coming back.
That lady's hectic.
Yeah,
though. But hey, like it seems like the apple hasn't fallen.
Yeah,
far from
no,
the
it
tree.
hasn't fallen.
Just as a matter of interest,
Yeah.
because I was looking at this and I thought,
Yeah.
this guy's 29. Mugabe would be like 100 now.
Yeah, will be like a
Mugabe's second wife was 40 years his junior.
sure.
Winnie Mandela was 20 years younger than Mandela. You see the trend.
Yeah.
If you want to be a president,
Yeah, you must just follow that trend.
if you want to be a president, once you are 50, 60,
Yeah.
get the 30-year-old.
Yeah, you can push it through. Can push it through.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Oh, no. Thanks so much, Rob. I think that's it. I think that the sentence that these boys got was fair. And in fact, it was very, very merciful. It was a very good one.
Yeah.
But Malema's one still, in light of that, was still quite harsh.
Very harsh.
Still quite harsh.